welcome to another Daily Digest video. I am Merriam, and today I am playing with Smallpox. It's a card that I really can never ever get away from. I don't know what it is. We all have cards like that. Smallpox is the one for me. Today's Smallpox list is very Planeswalker heavy, as you can see from this opening hand, in addition to Liliana, which is pretty standard. Got Gideon, ally of Zendikar. There's also a couple copies of Sorin, Solemn Visitor, and then Oath of Liliana to help get some more value out of these Planeswalkers. And those little bits of value are really important for every Smallpox deck because you're stripping everybody of resources. You're playing this game to game, and so those little bits of resources matter more than they would otherwise. This hand is slow, especially on the draw. I would be an easy keep, I think, if I could start on Flagstone's Urborg and not lose a land effectively from my turn 2 Smallpox. But the fact that I can't interact on the first 2 turns and still cast a Planeswalker on turn 3 makes me think I should mulligan this. I think I would also have kept it on the play. Well, I think I'm going to keep this, and I definitely need to draw lands. But I do get to Thoughtseize and then maybe Pox on 2, or more likely hold it unless I guarantee another land drop so I can start flashing back a Lingering Souls. But I don't think I can mull the 5. Fetid Heath is great. And we're going to hope that there's a land beneath that as well. Celestial Colonnade. Control matchup should be pretty good. A lot of Planeswalkers, Lingering Souls, discard spells. So I feel pretty good there. Looks like our opponent is a blue-white version of the Taking Turns deck. And even though I like drawing extra cards, Dictative Crucifix is not a card this deck wants to play against. We're trying to strip everyone of resources. This does the opposite. So I will take the Dictate for sure. And they have 2 paths, which is great. Not very good against our deck. Exhaustion, Serum Visions. So take their best card and pass. These Smallpoxes actually aren't going to be very good against what might be either a completely creatureless deck, disregarding Colonnade, or just Snapcaster, neither of which we really want to hit with a Pox. So not going to cast the Pox here. I'll wait and use it later in case I want to trade lands or I draw Flagstones or something. I'll just set up for turn 3. Probably just play Liliana and plus. Ooh, another Smallpox. Well, that's going to be an easy discard to this Liliana should it resolve. And I don't think this deck plays many counterspells. Maybe Remand. And there it is. So we still know 3 cards in their hand. They played the land we had seen. Ugh, Mikakoro. Yeah, there's the Exhaustion. So, but we know they have 2 paths here. Can't do anything. They keep hitting the lands. This Colonnade is going to get threatening. We do have Fatal Pushes in our deck to answer it, but now I'm less inclined to run the Liliana out there. I think what I need to do is start by protecting it with a Lingering Souls. That Remand was really very good. Okay, well, Lingering Souls resolved, that's fine. Yeah, Mikakoro is great against us. Oh no, they miracle the Temporal Mastery. Oof. Yeah. Okay, well, Flagstones lets us at least fire off 1 Smallpox for very little cost. But we are not in good shape here. As you can see, the game has become very resource heavy, which is what their deck is trying to do, not what my deck is trying to do. So I can potentially do some attacking. I don't know how strong Liliana is going to be at this point. Although it's sort of free with this Bloodghast in my hand. I can Liliana plus discard Bloodghast, play Flagstones, then flashback Lingering Souls. And I definitely do like having Liliana in play. So let's try for that. Cryptic Command. Ugh. Yep. Well, this is getting tougher and tougher. Now I guess, have to flashback Lingering Souls and attack for 2. Okay. Good news is I can still, even though I'm using all these land drops, I can still get this Bloodghast into play next turn. Wow, there's 2 basic plains, only 1 basic swamp. That seems strange to me, but let's flash this back. So what I can do next turn is use the Flagstone, Swamp, and Fetid Heath to play Liliana, plus it, discard Bloodghast, and then play Smallpox, sacrificing Flagstones, which will then get me a land. Oh man, now he's a Dictate. Well, I think I still have 2 paths, they have 3 others. This is probably where they start taking a bunch of turns. Yeah, with Dictate and Mikakoro in play. This is probably not going well. Good chance we do not get another turn here. Okay. I imagine this target's Time Warp. And we will just keep F6ing and cross our fingers. Not like we'll be in great shape anyway, but still in the game is better than dead. Ooh. Well, I'm not going to block, actually, because that Snapcaster is going to get cleaned up by a Smallpox, so... Oh. Well then. They had another one. Okay. I guess they were just trying to trade so that I'd have fewer blockers for the 6/6? I don't know. Seems like they missed an attack with the 6/6. But that's just me. Now I will block the Snapcaster because I want the 6/6 to get cleaned up by Smallpox, so... Oh. Well. Oh man, we're gonna have to fetch another Godless Shrine. I guess we have a bunch of planes because of Flagstones. Well, we have to get Godless Shrine so we could Fatal Push, and I mean, my opponent likely has a Remand for this, in which case I am dead regardless, so I'm just going to cast it now. Yeah. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I could have potentially blocked the 6/6, taken 4, but if they have another Exhaustion or basically anything, Remand... I guess I do have 2 Fatal Pushes, but very unlikely that I'm able to win that game. We need more of our point removal in this matchup for sure. I'm certainly going to remove Oath of Liliana. I definitely like Collective Brutality. I think I like Fulminator too. I really want to be on an LD plan. Don't really like Surgical. You can like limit their number of time walks, I guess, but I don't think that's actually very good. Obsidat is a nice way of applying pressure, but Gideon, I think, does that even better. And I think Smallpox is pretty bad, although it is part of this sort of LD plan. Is keeping Fatal Push around in any numbers that good? Kills Celestial Colonnade, which can be important for keeping our Planeswalkers alive. But we do have Fulminator to deal with that. Once they get to the point where they're casting Part the Water Veil with Awaken, I don't think Fatal Push on the land is actually good. So I'm really not concerned about this card doing much. So maybe I just want more pressure and I want this Obsidat or this Kitchen Finks. Neither is particularly good at pressuring the opponent, but I really don't want a 5-mana spell. So I'll just bring in a Finks, I guess. And I will play first. Well, there is some good news about this hand in that even though it's flooded, I have Smallpox with Urborg Flagstones. So I can Smallpox on turn 2. But then what can I do on turn 3? I think I can reasonably just hope to draw something to do on 3 and Gideon on 4. And that's probably fine. I have 2 draw steps to find something. Either a point discard spell or a Liliana or even like a Lingering Souls is fine. Our opponent mulliganed and scry to the top. So I will play a Flagstones and pass. Play a Flagstones. There we go. Thank you. Smallpox is definitely a lot better on the play here. Okay, Bloodghast, that is nice. So we do have something to do on turn 3. We can actually get it into play now, I guess. But we can have something else to do, I guess, even if we're not doing it on turn 3. So we're going to discard Bloodghast, the Pox, and then the Flagstones trigger will find us a land, which will bring it in. I'll discard here. And so we have essentially lost nothing and Stone Rained our opponent while making them discard a card, which is pretty nice. This is basically the dream. Yes, I will use its ability. And I don't think there is any reason to not just find a Godless Shrine here. We do have Urborg, so Plains is basically the same thing. But getting the Shrine here lets us fetch our basic Plains and take less damage that way, in case that's ever relevant. And we will use Bloodghast. Perfect. And Lingering Souls. This is... everything's coming up Millhouse. And if our opponent doesn't have a remand on turn 2 for this, or on turn 3 for this Gideon, then they are in a world of trouble. Even so, I've got 4 damage here. They're going to fetch to 16 at least. So they're on a clock. Let's attack. Maybe they like path this Bloodghast or something. And then I'm clear to land this Gideon. No? Okay, well that's fine. I'm going to try it anyway. Spend my mana. Oh my. Oh my. Let's make a Night Ally. And pass the turn. Have a casual 11 damage next turn. With our opponent at 13 and 2 fetch lands in play, so... virtual lethal. And this game should be over in a hurry. Ooh, another Gideon. Well, I guess there's a good chance that they path this Gideon. And I wonder if it's better to, say, emblem it and try to attack for 10. Probably get the Bloodghast pathed and then cast another Gideon. Or force them to path this one and cast another Gideon. I guess they didn't have remand last turn, so I shouldn't be that fearful of path plus remand this turn. Although it is one of the few ways that they can sort of get themselves out of this scenario. If I sacrifice this Gideon, they remand this one, path this Bloodghast. Even so, they've still taken 7, and they're at 5. They're still facing lethal from what I have on the battlefield. They're going to need to start crypticing and exhaustioning after having path plus remand. So, but the same is true if I just plus this Gideon. So let's just plus it. Getting in this 11 will just end the game on the spot. Even before any sort of cryptic command nonsense could be a thing. Yeah. Okay, yeah, they're just dead. So one thing to keep in mind is against exhaustion in particular, I'll want to try to keep my Gideons untapped and just make knights with them and attack with other creatures if possible. And at this point, there's just no point in playing anything. Okay, they have a dictate. Our Urborg does let them use their fetch lands, but okay, yeah, I think I should have played this Lingering Souls then. Because now I can get exhaustion. I just started talking about leaving this untapped. And didn't do the same thing with Souls here. But, yeah, mostly irrelevant there. I mean, we have so many good draws at that point. I could, I guess, bring in Surgical. That just doesn't seem good. A couple of Fatal Pushes to help protect my Planeswalkers in spots where that's relevant, I think is probably the best plan. And Smallpox definitely shows its weight even against a creature-light deck. So, Game Trace. Ooh. This hand has pressure, but it has no disruption, which is an issue. Just turn 2 Bloodghast, turn 3 Lingering Souls, turn 4 Gideon, and you have to assume that some part of that is getting disrupted. A remand on the Gideon, and exhaustion after I cast Lingering Souls, so I can't cast Gideon. And that the Bloodghast and Souls by itself I don't think is enough of a clock. This is a hand with a good mix of lands and spells, and a good curve, but without any discard or Liliana, anything to really disrupt their game plan, I don't think we're going to win the race, especially on the draw. Am I being overly cautious? We do get draw steps. And the good thing is if we draw disruption, then our hand backs it up with pressure. If we mulligan, we could have the disruption without the pressure, which is a similar issue. You just give them time to draw into what they need after you take it. I think I'm going mulligan. And this hand, both Urborgs, is really kind of rough. I guess not so much when we have the Smallpox, but this is definitely a keep. This is going to be one of those heavy disruption hands that needs to find something like a Lingering Souls or a Bloodghast to apply some pressure. So we certainly don't want the Fatal Push there. Okay, Bloodghast is good. Bloodghast is definitely good. Let's start with the Thoughtseize. Really paying cost. Oh no! Got Spell Pierced. Well, this could be awkward then. Jace? Thing in the Ice. Well, that just... Whew. Let's just say I'm a fan of him playing a creature there. This Smallpox now looks great. We are going to lose a land, but we did draw another replacement, which is also nice. And I'm going to get near full value. Discard a Bloodghast. We'll get the full 3 cards from our opponent. And I'll sacrifice this Urborg. And we'll just return Bloodghast next turn, and then oh wow, they don't have another land too. Ooh. Well now I can Pox them. And I'm not sure how good that is. So I can Pox them or just bring back Bloodghast and set up to play Fulminator next turn. Or just Pox them next turn when I can then play a land after it. And bring back the Bloodghast. I think I'm just more inclined to get the Fulminator in play. Even if they find another land, they're not doing a lot with it, so I don't think I really need to hit them immediately. Yeah, and now the Fulminator is going to be very good. Okay, and the Smallpox, so let's just crack this. No, I think I'm just going to sacrifice the Marsh Flats to the Smallpox. Yeah. Okay. So now that I'm likely to just discard this extra land to the Pox, which will leave me with only 2 mana to play so I can't play Fulminator, which is awkward. I'm just worried about getting into a spot if I try to get greedy and play Fulminator right now that that is somehow awkward. I don't think that's going to happen though, because even if they have Remand or Pierce, I'll have 4 mana for Smallpox. So let's just play the Fulminator now. And I don't think there's any point in waiting. We're definitely going to blow up this land, so I'm not even going to wait until I get to attack with it and get in 2 damage. Well, they drew another land, but I don't think that is going to matter. Having fetch lands, I assume, is better with this Bloodghast, so might as well do that. And I will play a Smallpox. And, yep. The question is what land I sacrifice. And I think it's just better for me to sacrifice the Urborg. I think the Urborg has done its... Yeah, I'll sacrifice Bloodghast. The Urborg has done its duty. And now we are in very good shape. We can bring back this Bloodghast now, start applying some pressure, and our opponent is just so far behind in resources. They have 3 cards in hand, 1 in play. We have 3 in play, or we have all 4 of ours in play. So we're actually still even on resources. Oh, and now even way ahead, and they're just completely unable to operate. So now we can start applying some real pressure. 2 more. And this is exactly what the Smallpox deck is designed to do. Just like, oh man, yeah, just how we drew up. So we have 4 here, that'll bring them to 12, and then we're gonna have 8 next turn. This might get remanded, but what are you gonna do? And is there any value in playing Gideon? I assume my opponent doesn't have Remand because they didn't remand the Lingering Souls. Attacking with Shambling Event isn't necessary to apply lethal, and if our opponent has a bunch of exhaustions and draws a 3rd land, it might be better for us to have the Gideon in play. So yeah, let's attack with everything. And Gideon. This was some some nice draw steps from empty hand, but I think we were ahead regardless. Our draw steps would have had to have been pretty poor to not take this one down. And now even land exhaustion will not do it. And I think we'll see a concession right here. Yep. Saw game one, our opponent was able to sort of stall us with Bremand, land Mikakoro to get some extra resources, and we were not able to really do any of the things that Pox is known for, but games 2 and 3 we certainly were, and took it down fairly easily. Nice little match there against two of the less well-known archetypes in Modern, of which there are many. Hope you enjoyed that one, and you can come back and see me on Monday. Bye.